In a world searching for gaming knowledge comes the man, the myth, a legend in his own mind, Critical.
Welcome back, guys and gals. Critical here. Today I'm bringing another episode of Subsistence on Season 5, an experimental Alpha 52. And this happens to be a voiceover since when I was recording this, I was an idiot and didn't check to make sure that my mic was actually active when I was actually playing the damn game. So if I seem a little bit out of step or a little bit off of message while I'm playing, that'll be why. Now, I'm back in this world. One thing that I was talking about here is I was telling anybody who wanted to try experimental, make sure that you back up all your .save files in the Win32 folder, because if you bring them into Alpha 52 and then try them out, and then try to go back to Alpha 51, it will ruin your game. So make sure you back up before you try the update. Now, my power is up and my mass is up, and I didn't think about what I wanted to do with that power and mass. I was more concerned about getting some fish traps and animal traps down because there's a few things I wanted to test with them. And I do find out that there is a repair bug with the fish traps, that it's very hard to repair them. You can, but if you're doing it from the surface, like if you place a fish trap really close to the edge of the water so you don't have to get wet to actually check it, when you go to repair it, you're hitting the water and not the trap. And then you have to move it deeper to try to find that sweet spot to repair it. I reported it to Coal Games and I'm going to send them a video about it as well. Now, I've got my refinery going to try to get some metals processed, and I'm still not sure in this world what I want to do next. I think the thing that I really need to make for myself is going to be a vest, and you're going to see why here in a little bit. But my focus right now is to get some traps made, and I'm going to talk about repairing. Some people might not know how a hammer works, but to repair the fish traps or any of the traps, you have to have a hammer. Now, if you had a hammer already made in Alpha 51, unless Coal Games had fixed the bug, all Alpha 51 hammers are useless, and just put them in the mass recycler, and you have to make a new one, an Alpha 52 hammer, to be able to use it. And then once I get the hammer made, I'm going to show you how to use hammer, just in case there's somebody out there who's watching this and they've never repaired anything. Yeah, it takes a hammer, and then you have to have the proper resources for it. I also need to concentrate on getting some more meat in my life because, yeah, I'm getting critically low. I'm always on the lookout for the hunters. I know I've pissed them off in the last couple of days, and they're going to be coming for me. So I constantly go out and check that window to see if they're coming. In the current setup, I can see the hunters coming from both camps typically, depending on which way they're coming. But this wall right here is damaged. To repair it, you have to have a hammer, the logs, and the nail is required, and then you basically just hit it. And you see that the system is saying you don't have the required resources to complete the repair. So if you get the required resources and then hit it, then you repaired it. Now, the bad thing to note about this, that wall had a small amount of damage on it. By repairing it, you get a certain, I forget how much each repair is off the top of my head right now, but each repair is a certain amount of resources, and you get a certain amount of points back on that item. If it's barely damaged at all, it's just a waste of resources. That was a waste of resources, but it was done to try to show how it actually works, in case somebody didn't know. Also, with the traps, you have to have bait. The small game traps, you can use the medical herbs. For some reason, I guess rabbits like that stuff. You can use any vegetable. And then for the fish traps, it has to be either rotten meat or grubs. Now, at first, I think I was going to take the rotten meat, but I had a lot more grubs than I did rotten meat at the time. So I decided to take the grubs with me. Cool thing to note. If you put a fish trap out and you catch a fish and the fish stays in there too long and dies and then spoils, it turns into rotten meat. which immediately rebaits the trap for the next fish to come by. So you can get a circular thing going. The small game trap, it doesn't matter. Once you've put down the fruits and vegetables, if an animal dies in there, it dies, and then the carcass will spoil and turn green, but it doesn't rebait the trap because it doesn't turn into a fruit or vegetable. So, and I would say if you're going to try to use the traps, if you're trying to catch live animals, I would say about every 5 minutes you want to check it. If you're just trying to put the trap out and then check it and hopefully get some resources from the animal, like fish oil, then I would check it every about 8 to 10 minutes. Just that's what I feel is a good amount of time to let the trap work, because the traps take time to catch stuff, and if the traps are too close together, you'll have less chance of catching something, and once a trap has caught something, it has less chance again to catch another thing. So you can have more than one small game in a trap, but your chances of getting, a rabbit and a chicken or two of either one is rare in a single trap. The fish trap, it's not that too rare that I see 2 fish in a fish trap, but I haven't been able to work out the details on it. I mean, it's still really new. And why I say it's really new is the last time I played with the fish traps and stuff is when I did my update video. You guys might think I play this game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but I don't. I usually play Subsistence on Sundays when I'm doing my recordings, or if I'm testing something for cold games. Like, hey, can you look at this? Or hey, there's a new build, you want to try it out? It's going to be on experimental. Go look at it or something like that. Or if I saw this error, and he might say, here, try this build and see if it fixes that error. That's my, off-season play. I guess I'll put it that way. This is my seasonal play, and that would be off-season play. So it sounds like the hunters got into a battle with something and then decided to attack my base, which means they were on their way to attack my base and they ran into something. Now, I'm having a lot of attacks from the hunters because I keep poking at them. I want to get a lockpick. On camera, I want to loot a lockpick. But my poor recurve bow. Notice that it's only got a little bit of damage at the start of this video. By the end of this video, it's not going to be as healthy, unfortunately. Alright. Man, those hunters, instantly know exactly where you are and already had his shotgun pointed up at me and just shot me. I use so many first aid kits and bandages. Those stupid shotguns make me bleed almost every time. Make me bleed my own blood. How dare they? So he's camping that tree. So I moved over to another rock to try to get him to come out. Give me a better shot at him. Look at that. It was like, how did he hit me with that shotgun? I couldn't even see him and he still shot. Well, basically he shot me in the top of the head, I guess. But I didn't get a ding sound when I got hit. So, weird. Now, I go up here trying to get the wolf that they attacked, but it already despawned. If something else kills an animal in this game, it despawns very quickly. If you want to harvest it, you basically need to harvest it and then fight whatever else killed it. And something I need in this base is a dump chest. Something I can just run in and dump all my stuff into. And I'm checking to see which chest I currently have has the least amount of stuff in it, and it's this one. So I'm just going to start dumping stuff into this one, and then when the episode's over and I'm spending the evening, I'll go ahead and make a dump chest that I put by the door. That way, while I'm doing a video, I can just run in, dump, and run. Now, I noticed that my power is starting to go down. Well, actually, I didn't. I noticed, hey, I'm at 500 and 100. Okay, we'll leave it. It's because I'm running the refinery. That's what's going to drain my power most of the episode. Now I'm going to probably head out and check on that rogue hunter camp that I thought might be a regular hunter camp. And the reason it's harder to tell is currently The way to tell rogue hunters from regular hunters is that the regular hunters, the base building type, one, they build bases, but two, they're wearing hunter jackets. And then rogue hunters don't have hunter jackets, so they're short-sleeved hunters and long-sleeve hunters. Well, right now they're all wearing winter coats, and those winter coats cover up whatever shirt or jacket that they're wearing. So when you look at a hunter, if it's in the winter, you're not going to be able to tell if they're a rogue hunter or a regular hunter. And I don't know if that needs to be fixed. I just know I need to figure out which this camp is. Speaking of this camp of hunters, I start hearing some noises and I react to it here in just a second. I know I'm like ruining the surprise, but sorry, that's what happens when you're doing a voiceover. But right there, see that hunter coming in the distance? So I'm going to run over this rock, figuring they've already seen me, and to start attacking. It's basically this camp I was going to check on, and I was figuring they were going to attack me, but they're actually going to attack my base. So there's a 3-man hunter squad going to attack my base, and I have them cornered. I have them right where I want. Let's see if it works out for me that way. But I'm going to go ahead and follow this band of merry men on their way to attack my base. And I figured, you know what? Take out the sniper rifle and see if I can take one of them out really quick with a shot to the head. I mean, I know I can do it, but it'd have to be the guy that doesn't have a helmet. My sniper rifle would have to be upgraded a lot more to be able to one-shot a helmeted hunter. I don't even know if a level 4 sniper rifle can do that. All right, I'm trying to get an angle on them. Just as I start to get one, I've been spotted already. So that's how far away they can spot you. Now, seeing that I was already going to get surrounded, I instead of taking that little rock, I went ahead and moved over to Ore Rock. So this is I've had a whole base here, so I know the areas and how to use this little loop right here to fight hunters. But they're still getting some good shots in. Unfortunately, they're gonna make me bleed. But right there, no helmet, I get a headshot, and I'm happy. Damn hunters! Almost. Look at that. Still not dead. Now, what it is I thought that one hunter had taken like 3 or 4 arrows. Each hunter had already taken 1 arrow, and because you can't tell one hunter from another, there we go. So all hunters are dead. I'm still hoping for a lockpick. Not in that bag. Not in this bag. And spoiler warning, not in that last bag either. But there's still a lot of bags around here. So I'm still happy. I'm just wish I wasn't taking so much damage. Now I'm going to run home and make some first aid kits. And that's basically what I'm saying right now. Damn it, I need to run back to my house just so I can get some first aid kits made. Because these damn hunters keep making me bleed my own blood. But yeah, if you look at those hunters, there's no way to tell if they're rogue hunters or regular hunters because they have the winter jacket on. Now this world, it's February. We had a snowstorm last night, but that should be the last of the snow. I guess I could see a little bit tonight on this world and possibly tomorrow. But I think after that, it's going to go pretty green for a while. Now, I did check for cotton to see if it's grown on here yet. It's not. And I think I'm going to have to start putting some ash and water, at least into the planter that has my cotton in it. Because if I'm taking so much damage from the hunters, I need to make my armored vest. Because that'll help decrease the amount of damage that I'm taking. Unfortunately, that takes padded cloth. And that'll take a lot of cotton to be able to make. So I think that's what I'm going to be working for in the next episode or two. Is trying to get all the resources necessary to make my armored vest. Now, I could go attack the one hunter camp that's complete, and they would have their chest in there. Getting padded cloth from hunters is actually not that rare. I can raid a hunter camp that I've let build up their resources and get anywhere between 3 and 8 hunter of padded cloth each time. And I think one run like that would be enough for me to be able to make my my vest. But I'd still need more cloth and more cotton to have for repairs, because every time they shoot me, my clothing takes more damage. Now, I don't know if it's localized. Like, if they shoot me in the head, is that damage to just my helmet, or is that damage to everything? Whole Games has never said, and I've never been able to test it. I guess there's one way to test it. Put a helmet on and no other armor, and then let the hunters attack. And if I take a hit that isn't a headshot and there's damage to my helmet, that's a way to test. I'll have to think about doing that. So I decided to come back over and test the traps to see if there's anything in there. And the main reason is I want to see if these other traps are a little bit too close together. And as I'm thinking about it post video, I think that those two probably are. Now, that sound you just heard, it made me freak. I thought it was hunters. It wasn't. It actually turns out that was a moose. But I swear to God, I thought that was hunter footsteps, and it was another group of hunters coming to attack my base. So I immediately get high ground and get behind a rock going like, WTF? You know, I wasn't sure, was it my own footfalls that I was hearing that I was thinking was hunters or what? But now hearing it post video, it was a moose. And I know this because when I go over the hill here in a second, I'm going to look and see, oh, there's a moose. Back off from the wolf. And there's that hunter base right over there too. That's the one I'm thinking about. Maybe I should go attack that one. I'd have to use, I don't have any way to make grenades right now. Well, I guess I can make them, but I'd have to get the resources for it. I don't have a breaching charge, and I don't have a distiller so that I can make Molotov cocktails. Because in my opinion, 2 Molotov cocktails is probably cheaper to make. I have to look at that. How many potatoes does it take to make 1 Molotov cocktail versus making a grenade? I don't know. I guess if you have a lot of potatoes, then definitely a Molotov cocktail. Or if you have a ton of gunpowder, then maybe the grenade is the better way to go. But I think if I do it in the next episode, it's going to have to be 2 picks, and I'll have to cut the time out, because it's going to take it'll take half the day to break down that stupid door. That's why it has to be worth it, because 1, it makes for a shorter video, but 2, it means that I'm wasting all that time, and it better damn well be worth it if I'm wasting all that time. So I've decided that I want to go out and try to find this hunter camp again. Now, originally I was thinking that this was a rogue camp, and then I started thinking maybe it could be where the 3rd hunter base / the fortress is going to be, because I still don't know in this world at episode 49 where my hunter base is going, my 3rd hunter base is. I've never seen it, and I've only encountered a few rogue camps. There's so much territory, there's so much room for the rogue camps to be, that seeing a rogue camp now is, I don't want to say rare, but it's not as common to run into a rogue camp as it used to be when you had 3 rogue camps on a small map like we had before. So every time Cold Games ups, and I think he put more rogue camps on the map now that it's expanded, but either I don't go far enough away from my base, or I just haven't been running into them. Now there's another moose, and even though the other moose, I said I don't want to mess with the moose because the moose is going to kill me and I don't want to take any damage right now, I remembered that there was a bug where if you would attack a moose and get a moose to chase you, or the moose ran away far enough, it would just like vanish. And I was like, oh, damn, I forgot to test this. I wanted to see if Cole Games had fixed the disappearing moose trick. Well, not a trick, but a moose problem. And the only way I know how to test it really well, so I know it works, is by attacking the moose until the moose wants to kill you. And then the moose will charge after you. He'll attack once and then instantly disappears. And I don't know what level this moose is yet, but I'm like, you know what? If I want to test it. I think if I get lucky, I hit this moose in the head and it's level 1, I'll just go ahead and kill it. You know, let it chase me for a second and then kill it. But then I noticed that this is a level 3 moose and I'm like, this isn't cool, but maybe Cole Games hasn't fixed the error. Okay, so he's attacked. He didn't disappear. Now I'm definitely scared because I don't want to die and I can't turn and fight this damn moose. He's a level 3 moose. And I'm running like a girl with a chicken with my head cut off. And I'm like, I don't want any. I already bought Girl Scout cookies. Leave me alone. That's what I was saying in the original video. It was really funny when I said it originally. Now, the moose, I thought maybe it had disappeared. But it didn't. It actually got stuck behind a tree over there. And was running into a tree. Then he took off the other way. I decided to leave the moose alone and try to find this hunter base over here. And I'm going to look during this video and see if I see it, because spoiler alert, I never saw their fire. So I don't know if that was a road camp. Either their fire went out or I just didn't see it. But I don't see a foundation over here. So I'm even more convinced that that was definitely a road camp and they didn't move their base and then came and attacked me and I killed them again. So, and I think they gave me some gears, which is another indication that it was probably a road camp. That means I'm still trying to find my third hunter camp and find that fortress. You know, I'm going to be exploring someplace I haven't been. And, you know, I didn't even use the map. Once again, it's like after I do the video, they go, I've got a map. And I'll have to figure it out. Oh, I was talking about how the trees were popping in. And I guess if you're really looking for it, they do pop in now a little bit. Where in the old settings, when you were on Ultra, the trees never popped. They were all loaded in. But that was one of the things that was causing people to have frames per second issues. Because it was rendering all those trees in the distance that it really didn't need to. And a little pop in from a distance is preferable to having low frames per second. When I was doing this video, there was only one time that I hit 60 frames per second. It was actually 61. And it's actually coming up just here. As I was going down into the valley, I was talking about my frames. And I said the lowest I'd seen so far was 69. That was right about here. It was about 69 frames per second. As I come around this rock over here and around this tree, the frames dropped to about 60 frames per second. But I was on deeper grass. I had hills of grass in the distance, all the leaves and all the bushes on the screen at the same time. I think that's why I was getting the slower speeds, but it never dropped before 60 frames per second. As far as I'm concerned, with everything on Ultra, and I'm getting 60 frames per second, and the worst spot I was in, I think it's still a great update. I'm happy with it. Now we're coming up to this hunter camp over here, and I wanted to come by and see if there's any resources, check their fire, wanted to listen to see if there's somebody inside, because if there's a hunter inside and I trigger him, that'll mean there's another revenge attack coming. I shouldn't trigger the hunter, even if there's the hunter that's like in there waiting for you when you break open the door so that you have a fight when you try to get inside. That hunter shouldn't trigger on me unless I try to break the door down. I don't think. But he didn't trigger. Now, on my way back home, I've decided, you know, it's getting late. I want to go ahead and check those fish traps again. And then the animal trap. This isn't set up. I honestly just put the traps out and I figured I'd come by and look. And people have been complaining that the animals die almost instantaneously when they get into the traps. I haven't seen that. This rabbit was trapped, I'd at least say for a minute, 2, maybe 3, and it's not dead. And the fish definitely seem to stay fishy longer. But we also have to understand the fish don't die per se. You get a fish, and the fish carcass eventually spoils. The rabbit has a health bar, and then the rabbit will be okay until it dies. Once it dies, then the spoil timer takes over, and it'll eventually spoil. Now, I also remembered at this point that I wanted to do some testing on repairing the fish traps. But to do so, I have to actually go back home and get my hammer. And, I don't care how long I've played this game. Anytime that I have to kill a rabbit, it still makes me cringe just a little. The squeal when you kill a rabbit, or when you shoot a rabbit, or like with an arrow, and it's sitting on the ground and it's still alive, and it's sitting there crying out in pain. I don't know. If you don't feel anything, you don't have a heart. I'm sorry. You got to feel something. So I'm going to grab my hammer, I'm going to grab some cordage, and I'm going to grab my sticks. Because you need cordage and sticks to fix the traps. Now, the traps take damage over time. And it literally is damage over time. It's not when every time they take... they don't take damage when they catch something. They take damage over time only. Now, you can shoot a trap and cause damage. But if you leave a trap alone and nothing hits it and nothing runs into it, it'll take damage over time no matter what. And when a trap breaks, it's just like if a wall breaks or anything else in the game breaks. There's that big breaking sound and then like pieces, and then it just goes poof and disappears. If there's anything inside the trap, like let's say you had a blueberry in the trap, or an animal in the trap, it just goes, disappears. So I'm trying to repair this trap. I can see that it's telling me I can repair it, but it won't give me a repair because the water's in the way. And I tried to swim down, into the water to get to a point where I could fix it. I can't seem to fix this trap. So I'm going to go ahead and move it into deeper water. So I see if I can get a better angle at it. And this time I got the right angle immediately. For this trap, it seemed to work easier. The next trap won't be as easy. This is the video that I sent to Cold Game, so that he could see what I was talking about. Because what's the use of experimental if you notice a bug and then don't tell the developer? So already knowing that I can't do it from the surface, I don't know why I figured I'd try to do it again, but I tried to do it again. But you see that it's not giving me the option saying you need sticks and cordage. It's just showing me the damage on it. You have to have the hammer in your hand and then have the symbol saying that it's damaged and what you need to repair it. And you see, I'm not getting that, so I'm not deep enough still. I think this fish trap, I had to move 3 or 4 times to finally get to the point where I could actually repair it. And even now, I'm seeing the thing that says this is it's damaged and you need cordage and sticks to fix it. But even when I see that, I'm not getting the repair. So this should be the 4th and last time that I move the trap. Get a breath, come down. You see right there, I'm not actually getting the indication that I need sticks and cordage. Right there. That's where I should get it. And it took that to finally get it. So Cold Games definitely needs to fix on it. He says it's on the list. And it's one of the things he needs to work on. And he's also having problems with people with lower end systems where they're getting lower FPS because of the changes made, the way that the system renders all the graphics for all the building pieces and everything. into the game, the video card's memory, that people on either no dedicated video card or very low end dedicated video cards seem to be having issues with worlds that are really, really big, as in, they've got a huge amount of built structures. Also, I wanted to rebait this trap, but I needed at least, I think it's 3 leaves or 2 blueberries, and I only had 1 of each. So another beautiful subsistence sunset. I'm on my way back to the house. It's been a decent day. I think I used way too many first aid kits and bandages as usual, and took way too much damage from the hunters. And once again, I need to get a dump chest made and put together because this is just too much. But I'm going to go ahead and call the episode here. I've been Critical. This has been Subsistence on Season 5, Alpha 52. I hope you guys have enjoyed this content. If you have, drop a like, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Bye.